It wasn't sealed with fire or carried by a drone. Just a simple envelope, handwritten, left in the mailbox like any other piece of paper. But when Eli opened it, the world around him seemed to slow. "Hey, Eli, I'm on Verda now. It's beautiful. Trees the color of copper, sky like deep water. I miss home. I miss you. I don't know when I'll be back." That was all. No signature. Just those words in Maya's handwriting, the same looping script that had filled the margins of their high school notebooks, the same ink that once wrote, "You're my favorite person," on a napkin at the diner by the lake. Now, she was gone. Not just across town. Not even on Earth. She was on Verda, a colony planet 200 light-years away, part of the new deep space resettlement program. Scientists, builders, dreamers. Maya had always been one of those, brave, bright, the kind of person who looked at the stars and didn't see distance. She saw possibility. Eli. He looked at the stars and saw silence. He sat on the porch that night, the letter in his lap, rain tapping gently on the roof. He remembered the last time they'd sat together, right here, watching the sunset. She had said, "What if we could? Just listen to the universe? Not with machines, with our hearts?" He had laughed. "You're too soft for space." She had smiled. "And you're too quiet for anything else." Now she was among the stars. And he was still here quiet, still, aching. It wasn't just that she was far. It was that the way they used to talk was gone. No more walking to the lake. No more late-night calls. No more shared silence that never felt empty. The new quantum messaging system was supposed to make communication instant, even across light years. But messages took days, sometimes weeks. And when they came, they were short, tired, like she was always running out of time. He wrote her long replies about the apple tree blooming early, about Mr. Haskins' dog finally learning to sit, about how he fixed the old radio and could now hear signals from deep space, faint, crackling voices from other worlds, but he never sent them. What if she didn't care anymore? What if she had changed? What if he had changed and didn't even know it? He felt like a shadow of himself present, but not really there. At work, at dinner with friends, even when he smiled. Something inside was missing, a frequency only Maya had ever tuned into. One night, he turned the radio toward Verda's sector, and he listened. Not for words, not for signals, just for her days. Past, nothing, just static. The cold breath of space, then faint, almost gone a tone. Not a voice, not a message. Just a single pure note. Like a bell ringing underwater. Eli sat up. He adjusted the frequency, slowed the playback, filtered the noise, and there it was again. He recorded it, played it back, compared it to old voice messages Maya had sent. The pitch, the rhythm, the feel. It matched. Not her voice, but her humming. She used to hum when she worked soft, low, a tune she said came from somewhere else. A lullaby her grandmother taught her. One she never wrote down. And now, somehow, across 200 years of light, that hum was floating through space. She wasn't sending words. She was sending sound. Signal only someone who knew her would recognize. Eli's breath caught. She wasn't ignoring him. She was reaching, and she was using the Yali. Only language they both still shared, quiet, simple, true. He didn't send a long message the next day. Instead, he sat by the radio, took a deep breath, and hummed back. Same note, same rhythm, same soft, steady tone. He sent it into the sky. No words, no tech, just sound, just heart. Then he waited. Weeks passed. He kept sending it. Every night, same time, same frequency. Like a beacon. Then one morning, the radio crackled. Message arrived. Eli, I heard you. I thought I was imagining it, but it was you. I play it every night. It's the only thing that makes me feel close to home. I didn't know how to come back to you, but you found me. Thank you." His hands shook. He played her message, then played his hum, then hers again, and for the first time in months, he didn't feel far away. He felt connected, not by distance, not by time, but by something deeper, understanding, memory, love, that didn't need to shout, back on Verda. Maya stood on the observation deck, the hum playing softly through her headset. Around her, the copper trees swayed in the alien wind. The sky burned violet at dusk. She smiled. She had built machines, helped grow forests on red soil, spoken to scientists in 5 languages. But this small, quiet sound from a boy on a small blue world was the greatest thing she'd ever received, because it said, "I remember you. I see you. I'm still here, and in that moment, across the vast, cold silence of space, 2 hearts beat in harmony. They ignored the quiet human until their steel burned, screamed, and shattered. But no steel burned that day. No machines shattered. Instead, something far stronger held. A quiet man, a distant girl, and a hum that crossed the stars. Because sometimes, the loudest strength isn't in war or noise or power. It's in the courage to listen and to answer, even when you're not sure anyone will hear. They ignored the quiet human, but the universe didn't. And neither did she. Eli still woke up to rain on the roof, still walked the same path to the old radio lab behind the community center, still made tea in the chipped blue mug Maya had painted for him years ago. Life looked the same. But inside, something had shifted. It wasn't just that Maya heard him. It was that she answered. That across the impossible stretch of space, through time that bent like light, she had listened and known his voice in a single note. Still, Eli didn't feel like a hero. He didn't feel strong. He just felt hopeful. And hope, he was learning, was its own kind of strength. The radio became his quiet mission. Every night, he sent the hum again, same tone, same rhythm. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. It was his way of saying, "I'm still here. I still care." Sometimes he added a little variation, just a soft rise in pitch, like a question. "Are you okay?" Other times he held it long and steady. "I'm with you." And slowly Maya began to answer in kind, not with words. Not yet, but with sound. First, it was just her hum, layered with his. Then, one night, there was a new tone, a higher note, like a star twinkling beside the moon. Eli played it over and over. It reminded him of the wind chimes outside Maya's childhood window. He smiled. She was talking in music. He started keeping a notebook, not for words, but for tones. He gave them names. "Good morning. I'm tired. I saw something beautiful." He learned their rhythm like a language. People at the community center noticed. "You're spending a lot of time on that old machine," said Mrs. Lynn, who ran the garden. Eli shrugged. Someone's listening. She didn't understand. But she didn't mock him. She just brought him tea one evening and said, "Love's a strange signal. Sometimes it travels best in silence." He never forgot that. Then, one night, something unexpected happened. The radio crackled, not with Maya's tone, but with a new one, sharp, unsteady, like metal under strain. Eli sat up. He adjusted the frequency, filtered the noise. There it was. Again. And again. It wasn't a hum. It was a pulse, fast, urgent. His heart dropped. He knew that rhythm. It was the same beat Maya used to tap on the table when she was scared. In high school, before a test, before her dad got sick. A quiet, nervous knock 3 times. Pause. 3 times she was trying to tell him something. She was afraid. Eli didn't hesitate. He turned on the transmitter, took a breath, and tapped back on the table, into the mic, into the stars. Tap, tap, pause, tap, 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 tap. Same rhythm, same comfort. And then HFY. Not the usual one, the long one, the one her grandmother used to sing the full lullaby, the one that went on for minutes, soft and warm like a blanket. He played it all the way through. Then he sat back and waited. On. Verda. Maya sat in her quarters, her hands shaking. The colony's main support beam, a massive alloy column, had begun to vibrate strangely. Engineers said it was stress from underground shifts. But the sound, it was wrong. A deep, groaning wail, like metal in pain. She had been lying awake, listening to it, heart pounding when her headset crackled. And then she heard it. Eli's. Tap, then his hum. The full lullaby. Tears filled her eyes. She hadn't told anyone she was scared. Not the team, not her supervisor. But Eli knew. Not from words, not from data. From sound, from memory. From love. She placed her hand on the headset and whispered, I'm here. I'm okay. Then she tapped back. Tap, tap, pause, tap, tap, tap. And for the first time since arriving on Verda, she didn't feel alone. The next message took longer to arrive. But when it did, it wasn't just sound. It was words. Eli, the beam cracked last night, not from the ground, from the sound. The metal, it resonated, like it was tired. The engineers are baffled. But I remembered what you told me about vibrations, about how small things can break big things if they're in the right rhythm. I told them. They listened. We changed the frequency of the stabilizers. It worked. The colony is safe. They called it a miracle, but I know the truth. You saved us. You were listening when no one else was. Thank you. Eli read it again. And again. He hadn't done anything special. He hadn't built a machine. He hadn't flown across stars. He had just cared. And in caring, he had heard something no one else could. At the community center, people started coming to the radio room. Can you really talk to someone on another planet? Asked young Leo, who had lost his sister to a medical mission on Mars. Eli nodded. Not like a phone, but yes, if you listen hard enough. Can I try? Leo whispered. So Eli showed him how to send a tone, how to wait, how to mean it. And every night after, Leo sent a simple melody, 3 notes, rising. After Maya's message, the one with the singing voices from Verdi, Eli played it every night before bed. He'd close the window, turn off the lights, and let the recording fill the small room. It wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, but it was real. A piece of her carried across space by nothing but sound. Still, something ached. They were talking now, in their own quiet way. But Eli wanted more. Not just tones, not just echoes. He wanted to see her, to hear her laugh, to know she was safe, not just through signals, but through presence. But how do you close the gap between stars? He wasn't a pilot. He couldn't build a ship. He didn't have the credits, the training, the strength to cross 200 light years. All he had was a radio and a heart that refused to give up. One rainy afternoon, Eli sat at the kitchen table, staring at an old photo. It showed him and Maya on the dock by the lake, arms around each other, smiling like the world had no edges. The picture was faded at the corners, the color soft with time. He turned it over. On the back, in Maya's handwriting, no distance is too far if you carry each other in your voice. He read it again and again. Then he had an idea, not a big, loud idea. Not one that made alarms go off or ships launch. Just a quiet one. What if he built a song? Not just a hum. Not just a signal, a real piece of music made from their memories, their moments, their life together. He'd send it into space like a letter, not in words, in feeling. And he'd send it not just to Maya to everyone on Verda, because if one person could hear him, maybe others could too. Maybe hope could travel on sound. He started small. He recorded the wind in the trees behind his house, the same kind that rustled the copper leaves on Verda. He captured the rhythm of rain on the roof, like footsteps on a metal walkway. He tapped the beat Maya used to drum on her desk when she was thinking. Then he added the hum. But this time, he layered it slower, deeper, rising like a wave. He worked for weeks, late into the night. No one knew. No one asked. But slowly, the song grew. It began with silence, and a single tone Eli's hum, then Maya's tap, then the sound of the lake lapping at the shore. Then, near the end, a soft melody played on an old piano, their melody, the one they danced to at the school fair. Under paper lanterns, he called it, "You Are Not Alone." And when it was done, he sent it, not through official channels, not with codes or permissions. He aimed the radio toward Verda and played it once, clear, full, with all its quiet power. Then he waited. On Verda, the signal arrived on a quiet shift. Maya was reviewing structural data when the colony's deep scan array picked up the transmission. At first, the tech thought it was interference, just background noise from Earth's atmosphere. But Maya paused. She recognized it, not the notes, not the sounds, but the feeling. She played it again, and again. And then she shared it, first with her team, then with the colony's public feed, then with the children's school. People listened in silence. Engineers paused their work. Gardeners stopped tending the alien soil. Even the little ones, born on Verda and never knowing Earth, sat still, eyes closed, as the song filled the air. Because it wasn't just music, it was home, not a place, but a sense of being known, of being remembered, of being loved across impossible distance. One woman, a botanist from Mars, started to cry. "It sounds like my mother's voice," she whispered. A young boy asked, "Is this what Earth feels like?" And Maya, standing in the control room, placed a hand over her heart, because she knew this wasn't just for her, it was for all of them, the ones who left, the ones who stayed, the ones who wondered. If anyone still cared, Eli had built a bridge, not of steel, not of wires, but of memory and care, and it had crossed the stars. The reply came 3 weeks later. Not a message, not a recording. GIFTA data packet, sent directly to Eli's frequency. Inside, a new song, made by the people of Verda. It began with the wind through copper trees. Then the pulse of the colony's heart, its power core, beating like a drum. Then voices soft at first, then rising singing Eli's hum, but now in harmony. And in the middle, clear and bright, Maya's voice. She wasn't singing words. She was singing his melody, the one from the school fair. Tears rolled down Eli's face as he listened. They had answered, not just her, all of them. And in that moment, he understood something. He wasn't just reaching Maya. He was reminding the galaxy of something simple. That quiet doesn't mean weak. That distance doesn't mean gone. That love, when it's true, can travel farther than any ship. After that, things began to change. More. People came to the radio room. Not just Leo, but others, older folks who'd lost loved ones to space missions. Kids whose parents worked on lunar bases. Eli taught them how to make their own signals, how to send a tone, how to mean it. They started a project, Voices Across Stars. Every week, someone sent a new piece, music, sounds, even stories read aloud aimed at distant colonies. No one knew if every message arrived. But they sent them anyway. because sending them meant they cared, and caring was its own kind of courage. Evening, Eli received a new message. Short, simple. We're building a new antenna on Verda. Bigger, stronger. We're calling it the Echo Array. It's tuned to your frequency. We want to hear you clearly. We want to answer faster. We want you to know when you speak. We listen. And Eli, I'm teaching everyone your song. It's becoming ours. Thank you for not giving up on us. He read it under the stars. No fireworks. No fanfare. Just peace. Because he had learned something powerful. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to move mountains to make a difference. Sometimes, all it takes is a single note sent with love into the quiet dark, and if you're brave enough to keep sending it, eventually the universe sings back. They ignored the quiet human until their steel burned, screamed, and shattered. They didn't see him. They didn't expect him. They thought silence meant nothing. But when the steel burned, it wasn't from fire. It was from vibration, from a frequency so pure, so full of care, that even metal could not resist it. And when it screamed, it wasn't in pain, it was in recognition. Because the quiet human didn't break the world, he healed it. One hum. One heart, one song at a time. Asterisk, he hadn't planted a single tree, but his voice, his quiet, steady signal, had inspired it. And that meant something. It meant that even the smallest person, doing the smallest thing with all their heart, could make ripples across the universe. But still, he missed her. Not just her voice, not just her laugh, but the way she leaned into his shoulder when she was tired, the way she'd squeeze his hand before big moments, the way she'd look at him like he was the only person in the room. How do you hold someone from 200 light years away? You can single quotes T. Not with your arms, but maybe, just maybe you can with your soul. So Eli decided to try something new. He wouldn't just send sound. He would send time. He recorded a full day, not a message, not a song. Just life. At 6 a.m. He turned on the recorder. Birds chirping outside, the kettle whistling, the creak of the floorboards as he walked to the window. 6:30 tea in the blue mug. 7 o'clock, the radio warming. Up, 8:15 walking to the community center. Boots crunching snow. 12 o'clock, Leo laughing as they fixed the antenna. 3 o'clock, rain tapping on the roof. 6 o'clock, dinner. Quiet, with the lake visible through the trees. 9 o'clock, sitting by the fire, humming. And at 10 p.m., he spoke for the first time. This is my day, Maya. This is what Earth feels like when you're not here. It's quiet, it's slow, but it's still beautiful. I wish you could see it, so I'm sending it to you. Not because I want you to come back, but because I want you to know. You're still part of this. You're still part of me. Then he sent it. One full day. No edits. No filters. Just truth. The message arrived during the night cycle. Maya was working late when the system flagged the long transmission. She recognized Eli's frequency immediately. She played it, and for the first time in months, she felt Earth. The birds, the rain. The quiet hum of a life lived gently. She sat in her quarters, eyes closed as the hours passed in sound. She heard the tea being poured, the pages of a book turning, the soft creak of Eli's chair as he sat by the window. And when his voice came at the end, soft and steady, tears slipped down her face. She didn't speak. She didn't write. She just stood, walked to the sound garden, and placed her hand on the stone with his name. Then she recorded her own day. Not on Verda's official channels. Not for the colony. Not for him. She left the recorder, running. Wind through copper trees. Voices in the hall. Soft beep of her workstation. Even the strange, low song the metal beams made when they cooled at night. And at the end, she whispered, "This is my world, Eli. It's loud. It's strange, but it's good. And when I miss home, I play your hum. It's the closest thing to peace I have. I carry you with me, every day. She sent it back. When Eli heard it, he didn't cry. He smiled, because now they weren't just sending messages. They were sharing lives, not face to face, not hand in hand, but heart to heart. And that was enough. Word spread. Other colonies began to ask for the frequency. Can we listen? They asked. Can we send our days too? Eli said yes. Soon, the radio room became a hub of quiet connection. Farmer on Mars sent the sound of red soil cracking under boots. Teacher on Luna shared children laughing in low gravity. A pilot on a deep space cruiser recorded the hum of the engine at rest. No one was shouting, no one was fighting. They were just being and letting others hear it. And in that listening, something beautiful grew. Not fame, not power, but belonging. Because every person who sent a sound was saying the same thing in their own way. I am here. I am not forgotten. He wasn't loud. He didn't wear a suit. He didn't stand on stages or give speeches. He just sat in the same old chair by the radio, headphones on, eyes closed, listening to the stars. But every week now, more people came, not just from town, from other cities, even from space stations. They came because they had someone they missed, someone far away, someone they weren't sure could hear them. And they had heard about Eli, about the man who sent a hum across 200 light-years. About the quiet signal that brought a colony together, about the way he made silence speak. They called it the Eli method, but Eli just called it caring. One afternoon, a woman named Clara arrived. She wore a faded jacket and carried a small box. My son, she said, voice soft, is on Proxima Base, medical research. He's been gone 3 years. I write. I send messages, but he doesn't answer much. I don't know if he feels alone. I don't know if he remembers home. Eli nodded. He didn't offer empty comfort. He just said, what does home sound like to you? Clara smiled faintly. Rain on the roof, the way the porch swing creaks. His favorite song on the old piano. Eli stood. Then let's send that. Not the words. Not a video. Just the sound of home. They recorded it together, Clara playing the song, the rain falling outside, the swing swaying in the wind. Eli mixed it gently, added a slow hum at the end, the one he had taught people to use when they wanted to say, I'm here. Then he sent it toward PROXIMA. Clara cried, not from sadness, from hope. Will he hear it? She asked. Eli looked at the stars through the window. If he's listening, yes. Weeks passed. Then, one quiet morning, a message arrived. Not for Eli. For Clara. Her son's voice tired, but warm. Mom, I got your recording. I played it in my room. I fell asleep to the sound of the rain. I haven't heard it in years. I forgot how much I missed it. I forgot how much I missed you. I've been so focused on work, I didn't realize how far I drifted. But that hum at the end, I knew it was love. Thank you. I write more. I promise. Clara read it 3 times. Then she hugged Eli. Thank you, she whispered. You gave me my son back. Eli shook his head. No, you did. I just helped you speak his language. What language is that? She asked. The one that doesn't need words. He said. After that, more people came. A boy sent the sound of his dog barking. His sister was on a mining station and missed him. An old man recorded the wind in the pines. His wife was on a deep space mission, and he wanted her to feel home. A young couple sent the sound of their newborn's breath, soft, slow, peaceful for the grandparents who had never held her. And every time, Eli helped them send it. Not with power, not with speed, not with care, because he had learned something Love isn't always loud, that it doesn't always come in shouts or fireworks. Sometimes it's a whisper, a hum, a single note sent into the dark, hoping to be heard. And sometimes it is. Then, one night, Eli got a message from Maya. It wasn't long. Just a few seconds. Eli, the sound garden is finished. The trees sing in the wind. The stone with your name is warm in the sun. But something's changed. The metal, it's reacting, not to wind, to sound. When people hum your frequency, the beams vibrate. Not violently, gently, like they're answering. The engineers say it's resonance, but I think it's something else. I think the colony is learning to listen. And Eli, we want to hear you. Live. Can you send a signal real time? We'll answer. Together. Eli's heart beat faster. Live. Not recorded. Not delayed. Now. It was impossible. The signal would take years to reach Verda. They couldn't talk in real time. Not across 200 light-years. But then he thought, what if they didn't need to hear him at the same moment? What if the act of sending was enough? So he made a plan. He called everyone. Leo, Clara, the boy with the dog, the old man with the wind, the couple with the baby, everyone who had ever sent a signal through the radio. We're going to sing, he said. Not for us, for them. For everyone who's far, for everyone who feels alone. We'll send a wave of sound, simple, steady, full of heart. And we'll do it at the same time every night. Doesn't matter if they hear it now, or in 10 years, or in 100. We'll keep sending it, because someone, somewhere, might need to hear it. And so, at 8 p.m. every night, Earth fell into a quiet rhythm. In towns, in cities, in small homes by lakes and forests. People stepped outside, closed their eyes, and HUMA same, tone. Same, rhythm. Same. Frequency Eli had started, a wave of sound rising from the planet, aimed at the stars. They called it the Earth Chorus. And slowly, across the galaxy, others began to answer. A scientist on Mars hummed at 8 o'clock his time. Child on Titan sang into the wind. A pilot on a drifting ship closed his eyes, enjoying. No. One was commanding it. No one was organizing it. It just happened. Because when you show the universe how to care, sometimes it learns. Eli still sat by the radio every night. But now, when he listened, he didn't just hear Maya. He heard many. Voices. Hums. Tones. All rising, like stars being born. And in that sound, he found peace. He still missed her. Of course he did. He didn't feel far from her anymore, because love isn't measured in miles, time, or light-years. It's measured in attention, in memory, in the courage to keep sending your voice into the dark, even when you're not sure anyone is listening. They ignored the quiet human until their steel burned, screamed and shattered. They didn't see him. They didn't expect him. They thought silence meant weakness. But when the steel burned, it wasn't from fire. It was from resonance, from 1,000 quiet hearts, humming the same tone, saying the same thing. You are not alone. And when it screamed, it wasn't in pain. It was in harmony. Because the quiet human didn't fight. He didn't shout. He didn't demand. He simply listened and taught the galaxy how to do the same. They ignored him until the stars began to sing. Eli had always believed in quiet. Not silence, not emptiness, but the kind of stillness that lets you hear a heartbeat in a storm or a whisper across an ocean. Still, some nights were harder than others. This was one of them. The wind tapped at the window like a question. The radio sat dark. No new messages. No hum from Verda. Just space, deep, wide, and slow. Eli sat in his chair, Maya's letter in his hand. The old blue mug sat empty on the table. Outside, the world was covered in snow, white and untouched, like a page waiting to be written on. He missed her Dot, not in a loud way, not with tears or shouts, but in the small moments when the tea was too hot, and he wanted to tell her Dot when a bird sang a strange song, and he wished she'd heard it, when the stars were so clear they looked close enough to touch, and he ached to stand beside her, under them. He didn't know if she was happy, if she still looked up at the sky, Dot, if she still remembered the sound of his voice. And for the first time in a long while, hope felt fragile, like ice on a pond, thin under his feet. Then the radio beeped, Dot, soft. Steady, Dot, a signal, Dot. Eli sat up, Dot. It wasn't from Verda's usual frequency, Dot. It was weaker, older, like it had traveled far through dust and time. He adjusted the dial, filtered the noise, and then he heard it. A hum, but not just any hum, Dot. It was his hum, the one he had sent years ago, the one Maya had first recognized. Only now, it wasn't alone, Dot. It was layered, Dot, rich, Dot, full of voices, Dot, and beneath it, a rhythm, Dot, tap, 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 pause, tap, tap, Maya's tap. Eli's breath stopped. He played it again, and again. The signal was faint, yes, but clear, Dot, and then a voice, not Maya's, but one he knew, Dot. It was Leo's, the boy from the community center, the one who had sent a melody to his sister on Mars, Dot. His voice came through, soft but strong. Eli, this is Leo. We're on Verda. We made it. We brought the chorus with us. We played your hum the whole way. They said we couldn't land a civilian ship, but when they heard us singing, they opened the gate. Maya met us at the platform. She sighed, "You're home." And then she said, "Now we answer." So we did. This signal, it's not just from us. It's from everyone. Everyone who ever hummed. Everyone who ever missed someone. We sent it back, all of it. And Eli, she said to tell you, look up tonight. We're sending it live. Eli's hands shook, Dot. Leo was on Verda. The chorus had reached them, Dot, and now they were answering, Dot, live, Dot. But how? Light took years to travel. They couldn't be speaking now. Unless they weren't sending sound through space. They were sending it through resonance. The metal on Verda, the singing trees, the tuned beams, they weren't just reacting. To wind, they were amplifying, like a bell struck softly, ringing across the dark. And Earth had rung first, Dot. Now Verda was ringing back. That night, at exactly 8 p.m., Eli stepped outside. The sky was clear, cold, full of stars. He didn't bring the radio. He didn't need it. He just stood in the snow, looked up, and waited, Dot. At 8:05. It began, not in his ears, not through a speaker, but in the air. A soft vibration, Dot, a hum, rising from the ground, from the trees, from the very wind, Dot. It was his tone. But deeper, Dot, fuller, Dot, carried on a wave that didn't come from Earth, Dot. It was coming from above, Dot. Eli closed his eyes. And then he heard her. Maya's voice, clear as morning, woven into the hum. She wasn't speaking. She wasn't singing words. She was breathing in rhythm, living the tone. And with her, hundreds, Dot, thousands, Dot, the colony, Dot, the visitors, the new arrivals, humming, Dot, together, Dot, across 200 light years. In a moment that defied time, Earth and Verda were in sync, Dot, not by speed, Dot, not by technology, Dot, by feeling, Dot, by memory, Dot, by love, Dot. And Eli, standing in the snow, heart full, began to hum too, Dot, not into a machine, not for a recording, Dot, just for her. And as he did, the air around him seemed to thicken with sound, like the world itself was joining in. The next morning, the radio crackled, Dot, a new message.